Hello, this is Edison TV, and we're delighted today to be speaking with Simon Deacon, who's Chief Executive of Light Science Technologies Holdings. Welcome, Simon. Light Science Technologies Holdings listed on AIM in October 2021. It's got a market capitalization of around 21 million, and it's building on an established contract electronic manufacturing capability to develop a range of innovative products for the fast-growing controlled environment agriculture market. It's pretty exciting stuff. So please, can you give us an overview of what your company does?
Yes, and Light Science Technology Holdings went to market in October of last year and raised £5 million. It has two companies within it: UK Circuits Electronic Solutions, which is in contract electronics manufacturer, 60 employees based up in Manchester in England. And on the other side, we have Light Science Technologies, which is in CEA market, controlled environment of agriculture, where we design, manufacture technology to help growers increase their yields. So it's a really exciting market. It's a £25 billion market growing at a very fast rate. And over the last 2 years, this business combined has grown over 30%. So it's a really exciting market with some real exciting technology products to help growers and farmers increase their yields by growing all year round in different sectors, from vertical farms, glass houses, and polytunnels. So we're really excited about the opportunity of going to market and growing the company globally.
That's great. And why did you decide to list on AIM last year?
Decided to list on AIM. We thought it would give the company a good opportunity to get an early advantage in the market with our technology. So we raised the £5 million to develop a range of technology products, which would then bring us closely with UK Circuits and what they electronics design and develop on their side of the business into the CEA market. And that gives us a global reach and creates recurring revenue. And so we went to the market to get early advantage on the products that we've developed and developing.
And tell me, why is the controlled environment agriculture market such an attractive one to be involved in, particularly now?
I think there's a lot of changes happening globally, and we see this every day on the news. So from climate change, we're seeing in India at the moment a massive amounts of temperature increases where humans are starting not to be able to function. A lot of people going into hospital, which means you can't grow in those environments. And so we've got to look about our food security. We've seen this with the Ukraine war and what's happening there, terrible events which are happening, and how we get our food, how we get our energy. And we've got to really look at this going forward, because there isn't enough valuable land with the right nutrients in it to grow the crops that we need to grow. We need to be growing more locally. The imports of food, and if you look at the UK, we import now nearly 50% of our food requirements. And this is in various countries, this is happening, and it's not good for the environment. So we need to cut down the food imports, reduce the carbon footprint by the transporter of goods and the waste that brings, and get growing locally done in an enclosed environment. And we can do this through vertical farms and different layers within the vertical farms, and also polytunnels and glass houses. They're more older industry and bringing new technology into that industry, so that we can grow all year round rather than only in seasonals, and so that we can grow strawberries, berries, salads all year round. And we've got products which can do this, and technology which can provide this to increase the yields and stop the wastage. So we're seeing globally there's water shortages, there's land shortages, and that there's dietary shifts in what we eat, and we want to know now where our food comes from, and what we're eating and what we're digesting. And I think that's really important, including the food miles. So all of these factors with a growing population is something which the controlled environment agriculture is playing a huge part in feeding the world.
I can see why it's an attractive sector to be in. So can you tell us a bit more about the products that you are currently developing for this market?
Yeah, so we've got 3 key areas at the moment that we're focusing on, and which some are available now. So we've got Sensor Grow product. This is a sensor which looks and controls what's happening in air zones. So this is looking at air speed. You need a certain amount of speed to go over a plant to put stress into it to help it grow. You need CO2. You need temperature, which is coming into the building, light, how much light are we getting from a glass house, polytunnel, or actually in a vertical farm, you're not getting natural light, so you're creating light in that environment. And then from there, what we're doing is capturing that environment that we're growing in and bringing it back to our lab that we are here based in Derbyshire for light science technology with our scientists, and recreating those conditions of our growers. And what this enables us to do is be able to fine tune what our growers need to do to increase their yield, so they're not putting too much nutrients on the soil and on the plants. They're not putting over watering on the plants. They're not wasting energy or fertilizer. And these are all things now which are becoming extremely expensive. So it's not just about increasing the yields that we're providing the technology for, but also the wastage, cutting down the wastage and providing the ultimate growing conditions wherever you're growing in those 3 segments: vertical farms, glass houses, and polytunnels. And that's what we're providing, that technology in those areas. And then that gets launched June next month at Green Tech in Amsterdam. So we're launching that product next month. And then in a summit in New York the following week, AgTech Show Summit, and we're launching that in America as well. So we're getting worldwide coverage with our sensor product. And this will include software where you'll be able to use a tablet and see what's happening in your environment with our scientists back at our own lab, and be able to recreate that and get the ultimate growing conditions. So we're really excited about that. And in the future with sensors, what will happen is we start creating our own data for different environments to grow in, which we will own that data, but also AI. AI will start learning from all the sensors we will have out in the field. And then from there, we'll start getting semi-automation involved and AI technology for the future, which really changes and brings these growers up to date in technology, having information at their fingertips, live data at their fingertips, and scientists backing all of that data for them. The other products that we've got and which are available now are Nurture Grow products. This is a lighting range. And you might say, well, why is lighting, required? Lighting's a really key area for a plant to grow. Now, in our glass houses and polytunnels, they're already there, out there, taking in natural light. But unfortunately, in some countries, we don't get the weather patterns that require the amount of light plants need through the growing cycle. And so what we can do is put artificial light in. And what this does is you can put this in place, and it's very energy efficient lighting we're using, really modern technology, LEDs that we're using, which create a recipe of light for different species of plant. I can't say how important this is. It really is important to get the right recipe for the plant you're growing and the family of plant that you're growing. And from there, what you see is an increase in yields. And that's really important for the farmer. And this starts getting them to start growing for longer periods of the season because they're not reliant on the weather patterns. And so that extends it, and then that decreases the imports to fulfill their contracts with supermarkets and the supply chain. So that reduces the miles traveled food to your plate. And that's really important for the environment. So really sustainable products and reusable products. The third area that we've got after the Nurture Grow product is an Extra Grow product. And this is combining all our technology in one. And what it does, it floats. It's a cloche system which floats along the ground in a glass house like you see behind me. And it floats over the soil and over the plants rather than creating those tractor tire marks where you can't grow in there. So you're saving about 28% of the land you're returning back to growing for the grower, which obviously increases their profits. But what it's enabling them to do is start to grow 12 months of the year, so no imports at all, and you're getting higher yields per year and less wastage. So we're bringing in the lighting, the semi-automation, so it will prepare the land to grow on, it will seed the land, it will then put light and water and nutrients to feed the plants with what it requires using our sensor technology to monitor how much it needs. And then from there, it will harvest the crop. And what this is doing is reducing the amount of labor. We have a big shortage of labor since Brexit in the country for growers. And this makes you be able to semi-automate the whole process and bring glass houses and polytunnels up to date. So it's a really important turnkey solution for growers, which is a really exciting time. And we're developing this with a UK grant of over £500,000 with a customer of ours in the Vale of Evesham. So this project's already started, and we won a contract from them of over £13 million, which is a really good position to be in, which has made our total overall forward order book of over £18 million. So we're very excited about what we're doing there and expect to see that in all polytunnels and glass houses in the future.
That's very helpful, thank you. And moving to the contract electronic manufacturing activity, what's distinctive about that?
I think that's distinctive about UK circuits is that we've got such good synergy between the two companies. We've got a returning to manufacturing here in the UK. So where before a lot of people have been importing products, it's now about product security. You can't get the products when you expected them. So be able to have a facility like we have up in Manchester where we are actually manufacturing products and be able to control what we build when we want to build it. So the design process, the manufacture, and the assembly is really important. And that means we can hold less stock, but manufacture and availability when we want to control it, which is a good place to be. UK Circuits has been involved in producing lights for other manufacturers for over 20 years and sensor technology for the gas and fire protection industries for also over 20 years. So it's a natural progression for them to building and designing those sort of products and then putting that experience that we've got into the controlled environment agriculture in light science technology. So the synergy there is really strong. And there again, it is really grown. We've grown over 30%, as I mentioned earlier, in the last 2 years in that company, and it continues to grow with a strong forward order book and good visibility into next year.
Right. Simon, just a little bit of elaboration on the contract electronic manufacturing business. And you were talking about the very strong growth you've had over the last 2 years. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and some of the customers that have helped you achieve that result? Thank you.
Absolutely. UK Circuits is growing, and it's got different. The reason it's grown, it's not stuck into one market. It's actually got different markets that we are involved in, and some of those are pest control, lighting, sensors, and the new sort of industry with cars becoming more battery powered and more electronic components within them. So if we look at pest control, you might say, oh, what electronics have got in pest control? Well, we work with a blue chip company with Rentokil, and we produce for them their pest control units, which are mouse traps and rats, and those type of vermin. And what they do is they talk to each other. It's not like the old days where you just put a unit out there and somebody would go out and walk out and see if it had been used or not, and if it needed replacing. They will actually now have sensor technology in them, some electronics, which go live back to a base, and they can see in a grid the ones which need disposing of and ones need replacing. And so this is why you see a lot of electronics in these products. Lighting, obviously, it's really got great synergy with the CEA market because we're creating lighting recipes. Sensor technology, we've been doing sensor technology for the fire industry and the oil and gas industry for over 20 years. And that synergy comes across then again to light science technology in the sensors we're using for capturing the environment to grow in. And then electronics, as I mentioned, for cars. So we're really showing there different areas, different markets that we are growing in, and we're seeing a return to manufacturing here in the UK for product security.
Oh, that's very helpful. Thank you. So Simon, thank you very much for your time today. It's been very interesting hearing how the company's doing, and look forward very much to speaking to you again in the future and hearing about the progress you're making with those exciting new products.
Thank you very much, Anne. Good to speak to you.
Thank you.